Hey, welcome to The Explainer. There's a question that pretty much hangs over our entire adult lives, and you've definitely been asked it. So, what are you going to do with your life? It sounds simple, but wow, does it carry a ton of anxiety. Our culture tells us again and again that our career is where we're supposed to find our identity, our passion, our whole reason for being. And that question, it's all about the what and the how, but it almost completely ignores the why. It sends us on this frantic search for the perfect job. And our modern world really only gives us two places to end up. And honestly, they're both dead ends. Let's get into what they are. So, on one side, you have the ditch of idolatry. This is the idea that your work is you. It's your identity. So, if your career is going great, you feel like a success. But if you get laid off or your project fails, you're a failure. It's a total roller coaster. On the other side, you've got the ditch of futility. This is where work is just a grind. It's meaningless. It's the thing you have to suffer through to pay the bills so you can get to the weekend. You're either burning out or just totally checked out. So, is there a way out of this trap? Pastor Timothy Keller says yes. Faith gives you a totally different foundation. See, when work is your everything, success makes you proud and unbearable, and failure is absolutely crushing. But faith gives you this inner stability. It's an identity that isn't based on your performance review or your job title. It keeps you steady, whether you're getting a promotion or a pink slip. Okay, so to really escape those two ditches for good, we need a better story for our work, a much bigger, more compelling story. And the sources we're looking at point to a biblical narrative that completely reframes the whole thing. Let's walk through this, because it's a real game changer. First, creation. And get this. Work wasn't a punishment for sin. It was part of paradise. God worked, and he created us to work, to cultivate the world, to be creative. It was designed to be good. Then the fall happened. Now, sin didn't curse work itself, but it broke it. It introduced all the stuff we hate about our jobs, the frustration, the office politics, the feeling that it's all for nothing, the thorns and thistles, as the Bible puts it. But here's the good news: redemption. The gospel frees us from having to find our ultimate meaning in our jobs. It redeems our labor, turning it from something we do for ourselves into something we can do for God and for others. And once you grasp that three-part story, creation, fall, redemption, it totally revolutionizes how you think about the word calling or vocation. Vocation is so much bigger than your job description. For a long time, people thought that only religious jobs, being a pastor or a missionary, were truly sacred. But the Protestant reformers really pushed back on that. They argued that any honest work, whether you're a coder, a plumber, a teacher, a stay-at-home parent, can be holy work. It can be a form of worship and ministry when done for the right reasons. Martin Luther had this incredible way of putting it. He called our jobs the masks of God. Think about that. He said that when a farmer grows your food or a baker bakes your bread, that's actually God himself feeding you, just wearing the mask of the baker. When a doctor or a nurse cares for you, that's God healing you through them. This idea just transforms everything. Your ordinary job becomes a way you participate in God's care for his world. Now, to keep all this straight, the writer Os Guinness gives us a super helpful distinction. He says we have a primary call and we have secondary calls. Our primary call isn't to a specific job. It's to Christ, to know him, love him, and follow him. That's number one. Everything else, our career, our family, our role in our community, those are our secondary calls. And here's the key. They are all in service of our primary call. Getting that order right protects our job from becoming an idol. Okay, so this framework is great, but how do we make it practical? How do we actually figure out what we're supposed to do? Well, there's a really helpful tool we can use to navigate these decisions. Think of it like a discernment compass. It suggests that a true calling isn't just one lightning bolt moment. It's usually found where four things overlap. First, your aptitude. What are your God-given talents? What are you actually good at? Second, your affinity or your passion. What issues in the world just fire you up? What do you feel a holy discontent about? Third, there has to be a real opportunity, a genuine need in the world that your skills can meet. And finally, and this one's so important, community. Do the wise, godly people in your life, your church, your mentors, Do they see this and confirm it in you? And to drill down even further, here are some killer questions from Pastor John Piper to ask when you're looking at a specific job. Instead of just asking about the salary, the commute, or the vacation days, what if you asked these first? Will this job help me become a better person, spiritually? Will it tempt me to compromise my beliefs? Can I do this job for a purpose bigger than myself? Will it let me genuinely serve other people? I mean, asking these questions just totally changes the decision-making process, doesn't it?
All right, let's pull this all together for the final piece, because this isn't just about surviving the work week. This is about reframing our work with a vision that's, well, eternal. Keller tells this amazing story, which was inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien, that just gives so much hope. It's about a painter who spends his whole life just trying to paint one perfect leaf on a giant tree. And he finally does it, but that's all he finishes. Then, in the afterlife, he sees the entire tree in all its glory, and his little leaf is part of it. That's our work. In this broken world, it can feel so frustrating, like we're only making one tiny leaf. But the hope is that our faithful work is part of a grand masterpiece that God is painting, one we can't fully see just yet.
And trust me, the stakes for how we view our work are incredibly high. Check this out. The average person will spend about 80,000 hours of their life working. Just let that sink in for a second. 80,000 hours. That is a massive chunk of your one and only life. It's an enormous opportunity we can either invest for something that lasts, or we can just let it drift by.
So really, this is the question it all boils down to. This whole framework challenges us to stop seeing work as just a job and start seeing it as a calling, not just as a way to make a living, but as a way to make a life filled with purpose and surface. So the question for you, for me, for all of us is, how will you invest your 80,000 hours?